Hey, and welcome to Creator Conversations. I'm here with Phuong. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great. I hope you're doing great.
Yeah, I'm great. I'm great. So just tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? What age are you? Where do you live? Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Phuong. If you don't know how to spell it, it's Phuong. I'm a Vietnamese medical student. I'm from Vietnam. I'm from the capital of Vietnam, Hanoi, in the northern part of Vietnam. I am 23 or well, 23, and I'm currently a medical student, and I'm in my final year. Because we follow a 6 year program. So I'm in the 6th year of my medical training program.
Is there any specific part of medicine that you want to go into later on?
So I'm setting my eyes on pediatrics because I think I
Okay.
work well with the kids. I love playing
Yeah.
with kids, and I think I because I'm a petite person, so I think I can actually join the kids better.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's a really cool part of medicine as well. Um, so, how much is there to study when it comes to med school? How much do you study per day? Um,
Well, it varies because in the So in the first 2 years, we spend most of the time at the university in the lecture rooms. But from the third year, we go into clinical training, and most of the time we spend, um, in the clinical setting in the hospitals. So we go to the hospital in the morning, and then we go back to university in the afternoon. And sometimes, maybe once a week, we have night shifts, and then we spend another evening in the hospital. So it actually varies. And if we're going to talk about how much I spend at my desk, I think that would round up to around 2 to 3 hours per day. But
okay.
but if you're talking about how much I actually am studying, then it would must be around, I think, 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours a day. Yeah, on
Okay.
average.
So it's a lot of learning by doing, or yeah, or do
Yeah,
you
it's
learn
true.
by
It's true.
reading or yeah? That's fun. That's
A lot
fun.
of things. But a lot of things you have to learn by practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and practice actually enlightens what we read in textbooks.
Okay. Do you have any specific study techniques or study methods that you use to lower the amount of time?
Um, well, it's actually really hard to adapt to the hospital setting because you make a transition from lecture rooms to hospitals, and you need to shift your study techniques because for me, I used to learn better just by reading because the subjects in the first 2 years are mainly, theories, and you can learn by heart. But in the last 4 years, it gets harder, and I have to adapt to learn by practicing. So, um, I don't think I have any specific study technique, but recently I think I kind of found that the most effective study technique for me is that I tend to pretend that I am a teacher. And
Okay.
at the beginning of the session, I would list the topics that I need to cover in the session. And first, I would go into the textbooks, I read everything, and I kind of outline and make a draft. And I just keep in my mind that, okay, if I were a teacher and I were to teach a kid, a child, someone who has no knowledge of medicine, what would I say? Because I do believe that once you understand the topic, once you understand the problem, um, you know, one you would know how to explain it to a child.
Yeah.
someone who needs a very, very simple explanation. So when you can achieve that, that means you actually learned, and you can actually apply it into the practice. Yeah. So always
Yeah.
pretend that you're a teacher.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really good point. I love using that as well when studying. But you study so like you learn so much, 8 to 10 hours, you said. How do you have any problems with getting motivation and being productive um, since it's so
Yeah,
much?
yeah, of course. It's like this. Just imagine, so you are very motivated at the beginning of the week. So
Yeah,
on Mondays, I work really hard. I could examine, um, 5 patients, kind of like that. But at the end of Monday, I feel exhausted. Like
yeah,
medicine is demanding intellectually, emotionally, and physically as well. So at the end of the day, I feel exhausted. I feel like all the energy is drained out of my body.
yeah,
Um, and Tuesday comes, and I just feel like, oh no, I don't want to go to the hospital at all because I didn't get enough sleep last night. I
yeah,
I didn't revise everything I learned on Monday. How could I actually get up and go? But one thing that helps me, to get out of my bed and just head to the hospital is that, first of all, is the patients, because, well, they're a great source, of knowledge, and they give me more information than any textbooks could give. And secondly, I have very, how can I say, very inspiring teachers, aka doctors at the hospital. I mean, they can work every day, they take night shifts, they can do it, so I can do it too. Yeah.
yeah,
So I think it's actually the environment and the people around me that gives me motivation, um, and pushes me to, train harder, and just get me out of my bed and go to the hospital. But of course, at the end of the day, I always feel exhausted, and I need a lot of rest to
yeah.
restore the energy for the next day.
Yeah, I guess it's also motivating, I think, like helping people or being on the path to helping people. That's one positive thing with being in medical school. That's unique as well. Um, so, yeah, let's talk a bit about your account and social media presence. You have grown a quite substantial following.
Thank you.
So, could you tell me about like how what made you start making content?
Um, well, it started back when we were in lockdown. I think like the
Okay,
whole
yeah,
influencer industry and content creator industry started back then. Um, because at that time I had a lot of free time. Because like I only stay at home and studied. I had nothing else to do. I couldn't even go out to enjoy myself.
yeah,
And at that time, a lot of my friends came to me to ask for like, oh, how do you study? What do you use to study? Um, do you have any textbook recommendations? And I thought like, okay, I gave them the advice and they found it helpful. And I thought maybe there are more people that are in need of that information. And why don't I just start a studygram? At that time, I follow quite a lot of studygrammers. I think, study homes. I think we are very
yeah,
similar, yeah, to her content, and I feel so motivated. I said, okay, so medical students in general from all around the globe are sharing their journey. Why can't I? And it's not very, at that time it was not very common for students in Vietnam to start a studygram. So
yeah.
I said, let's do it. Let's help more people. Let's connect to them, and let's get inspired, because it's a place to inspire others, but at the same time, you get inspired by them as well. So I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
was a great chance.
yeah, definitely. Did you see? Was it hard at the beginning seeing progress, or how fast did you see progress?
Um, I at first it was pretty hard when you only have like 100 followers. I mean,
Yeah,
numbers don't matter that much, but you want
yeah.
to get to more people and you want to kind of get that validation as well.
Yeah,
So at the beginning, when my followers were like 100, 200 something, it was hard because I was new to filming as well. I didn't know
yeah,
which angle I should take, and I had to do so many experiments to get the right angle, to do the camera setting, to the upload setting, how to get the highest quality. It was hard at that time, because I am a medical student. I am not a
yeah,
media student, so it was hard for me to get to know the editing software as well. So yeah, that was the
yeah,
hardest part. But as you move forward and the more you do and the more angles you experience, um, you found, okay, I think I found my perfect angle and I will continue shooting in here. And I found the perfect setting and it was so much faster and the content came out so much more high quality. Um, yeah, so we all have to go through that part, the hardest part.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When did you feel that it like clicked that you saw, oh, now I know how to make good content?
Um, it was actually so random because social media works in a way that I'm not familiar with or I just
Yeah,
don't understand because one day I randomly took a photo of me studying and I didn't even show my face, just like a side angle and some hair, but
yeah,
with the window and the sky was so blue and so clear, and
yeah,
suddenly that photo took a hit, and I think more than 100,000 people liked that photo, and I was like, okay, what is special about this photo?
yeah,
So and then I thought maybe I should try this angle again. And once again, I posted another picture with this angle. It was not as successful as the first one, but it still hit around 20,000 likes or something. So I thought,
okay,
okay,
yeah,
maybe we can experience more with this angle. Yeah.
yeah,
So that's
definitely.
when I knew that I could continue with that angle, with that shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really cool shot. It's very like everyone knows it's you when you see it. It's a really nice backdrop. But what would you say is your biggest mistake when it comes to making content creation that you want to advise
Mm,
people not to do?
mm, I came up with two things. So the first thing is I didn't put watermark on my content, my photos, my
Yeah,
videos, and the first picture that went viral, it was reposted on so many other accounts,
yeah,
and they didn't even give me any credits. And I don't like that at all. Nobody likes
yeah,
that. Nobody likes being stolen from someone. And and what actually annoys me is that we cannot find them until their post go viral.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
means that nobody gave, I mean, there must have been so many other
yeah,
thieves, intellectual thieves, and we just haven't found them. And at that time I realized that I need to put watermark on my photos and I need to do something about this. And I'd like to tell a story, and it's actually a great memory in this content creating journey. So, um, at that time, I think I was like 60,000 followers or something. And one day, another fellow study grammar sent me a video or a photo. I just couldn't remember. But she told me that, hey, I think this account is stealing our content, and not just yours, but also others study grammars. And at
Yeah.
that time, I was, furious because that is so irrespectful.
Yeah.
And I posted a story on my account, and I say, can you guys help me report this account because this action is unacceptable in this Telegram community.
Yeah.
And somehow that story caught so much attention among the whole Telegram community as well, and everybody reported that account. And
Okay.
in
Yeah.
just a few hours, it was, deactivated, or it was gone. I just couldn't find that account anymore. And after that event, I just realized how powerful the
Yeah.
Telegram community is and how connected we are. Um, yeah, and it's such a wholesome community. So
Yeah.
that's the first mistake. Always, always put watermark in on your content, whether it is a photo or a video or yeah, or a video. Just put the watermark,
Yeah.
please. I know
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate putting watermarks because it somehow it affects my aesthetic
Yeah. Yeah.
because
It does. Yeah.
you see a line of text the whole time. I don't like it at all, but it's my way to protect my intellectual
Yeah.
property. Yeah. And the second mistake is not being brave enough to post your content. I just cannot count how many times I created my content. Like I put so much efforts into creating it, like a
Yeah.
YouTube vlog. And then at the end, when I export it, I feel like, oh no, I feel like this is so cringy. I don't think I can post it. What
Yeah.
if my relatives, what if my friends see it? Oh no,
Yeah.
I would feel so ashamed and I would postpone it, or sometimes I just don't post it at all. Mm, but once I post that video, somehow it went viral. So it's just all the voices in your head telling you that it's not worth it, but it's just not true. And you might
Yeah.
feel like there are so many great content out there, and you might think too low of your own content, but it's actually good. It's actually um very informative. So just
Yeah.
post it, please. You put your efforts in it. And what if you only get 100 likes? 100 likes, but could you imagine like 100 people that go
Yeah.
across your masterpiece and they compliment it? 100 people. That's a lot if you think of it in person. So
Yeah. Definitely.
just try to shift your perspectives. Yeah. And just
Yeah. Yeah.
post your
Definitely.
content.
Yeah. Really two good learnings people should use. Have you seen some backlash after making your content? Have you seen like people not respecting what you do, etc.?
Well, I could say that that is very rare in the whole
Yeah.
Steadygram community because this is such a wholesome community and I am so grateful for it.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for any dramas either.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes there's still some people who, just they don't have any, I think they don't have any better things to do, and they
Yeah.
can leave such hateful comments on your channel. For example, on one of my study with me videos on YouTube, a girl left a comment saying that, okay, this video is so shallow because you are only here to show off your curls and your, fancy tech devices. And I was like, at that time, I was like, okay, what is more shallow? You pointing out that you complimenting my appearance because that's the only thing that came to your attention, or
Yeah.
my video actually helping people to be more productive? What is more shallow?
Yeah.
Well, but I didn't leave that hateful comment because nobody deserves any bad comment, and I said,
Yeah,
okay, I am so sorry that you felt that way about my video. Um, but I only posted this to help to accompany people while they study. So I'm sorry if you don't feel it helpful. And I just don't understand why people like posting hateful comments on anybody's account. Because
yeah,
if you don't like it, just scroll. Just scroll. I didn't ask
yeah,
for your view. You view it and you actually commented. But thank you if you leave comments. That would only help me.
yeah.
So
That would help only.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's a really good way of thinking about it. I see like a lot of people why they hate is just because of themselves and not just what you do. But of
Mm.
course, like when you see comments like that, you recognize them and you take them to heart, even though they are like unmeaningful. So yeah,
I think that to me, I have a kind of psychology theory. I don't know what the name is, but I think like when someone hates you for any specific reason, it's either two-way. One, they are jealous because they don't have it, and
yeah,
two, they hate that part of them. Like, for example, if you see someone who has a messy room and you feel like, oh my God, your room is so messy, please tidy up. You hate that part because you cannot accept that messy part of yours.
yeah,
Yeah, because we tend to be very strict with others and very harsh on others, but we go easy on ourselves. So
yeah,
we can forgive our mistakes, but it's so hard for us to forgive other mistakes. So if they put hateful comment on your account, it's either they're jealous or they cannot accept themselves. Yeah. So I think
yeah,
that way.
yeah. That's a really good way of thinking about it. But let's not talk about the bad things. What is your best thing being a creator and helping people?
Um, the best thing is well, we can see it in so many perspectives. First of all, for myself, it's a place for me to be creative.
Yeah,
And I can express myself on social media, and I feel like I am heard. People can read my opinions, whether they agree with me or not, but I feel like I am heard. I am listened to. So that's for me. And secondly, I think it's a win-win relationship. It's not just me putting myself out there, but my
yeah,
audience also, um, they can take advantage of it. And I mean, not take advantage, but like they can benefit from it. They
yeah,
can benefit from, they have someone um, to share their ideas with. They have someone that accompany them while studying. And most of the time, when people text me on Instagram, they would have a reply. Actually, so many Vietnamese students texted me asking, and once I replied, they said, "Oh, I couldn't believe that you actually reply because you have so many followers."
yeah,
And I say, I try to reply to everyone um, as long as I have time. As soon as I have time, I try to reply to everyone because I believe that if you are reaching to a stranger on the internet, it means that you are really in need, and I am
yeah,
willing to help you. But
yeah,
sometimes people just send me a text message and say hi. And I don't know how to
yeah,
reply to those messages. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, do you want me to say, how can I help you? No, you need to put your problem and I will be there to
yeah,
solve. But just don't reach out by saying hi. How can I reply to hi? I say hi again?
yeah,
No. So
yeah,
those types of messages I will have to ignore because I need to spend more time on helping those who are actually in need. So two
yeah,
things for me, it's to be creative, and to my audience, it's to, they get a partner, a study buddy, or maybe a bigger
yeah.
sister, someone with more experience. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have like any moment or like story that affects you the most when helping a student in need?
Mm, um, well, I think this conversation actually hit me hard, but it's actually not about studying, but it's actually about skincare because
Okay.
it was funny because when she reached out to me, she said, um, "Hi, I've been following you for a while, and um, I think you can help me with my skin issues. And I've been to so many dermatologists, but no
Yeah,
one can help me. But I do believe that you can help me. You can treat me." And I was like, I was taken aback because like, what? I'm still a medical student and I don't even want to be a dermatologist. I mean, I've learned dermatology. I've been through dermatology, but
yeah,
I'm not that good. And I replied, hi, so sorry that you are going through this, but I cannot treat you, but I can give you advice and I can help you understand your disease better. And just so you know, I've been through that journey as well. So just let me help you understand your disease and your um, treatment, the prescription of the doctor. And we talked back and forth, and I still remember her. And each month, I would actively myself text her first. Hey, how are you going with your acne treatment? Is
yeah,
it going great? And you can send me photos if you want, and I will, um, just give you advice. And yeah, I just check up on her. Um, in that moment when she texted me and she put so much trust in me,
yeah,
I just feel like I am so close to being a doctor, so, so close to being a doctor. And I know that just their happiness actually matters. And just my tiny, tiny, tiny text message could make their day. So just
yeah,
don't hesitate to text them first. Yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is the
That's
conversation that I remember the most. And we're still
yeah,
texting. Yeah.
yeah. That's a really cool story. It's actually fun that so many people like I get DMs myself of people asking questions that aren't related to studies. And when you have this social presence that you have, like people have trust and they trust you. Um, so that's an awesome aspect that I don't think many people think about. Um,
Mm.
but let's talk about like you have probably worked with some brand deals. I know you work with us at Brand Plant. What would you say has been your best brand deal and your worst brand deal? Because those you need to make a living as well if you do content.
Yeah, when talking about money, it's a sensitive topic, I know. Um, and well, I tend to be very skeptical and selective about collaborations because I
Yeah,
don't want to turn my page into like a whole, marketplace. No,
yeah,
it's a place to be creative. So I tend to be very selective with brands. Um, but I do have I don't really have any bad memories about working with brands. Um, I just cannot think of any brands, and either the
okay,
best one either, because I think all of them are great. Um, I just uh I just remember a time. I just don't remember which brand it was, but um, so okay, I actually remember a story. Okay,
yeah,
but it's not from it's um it's actually a brand in Vietnam.
yeah,
So I really like this stationery brand, to be honest. I love it so much, and I bought so many of their planners. And one day they reached out to me and they asked me to advertise their um planner for the new year.
Yeah.
And one thing to note that when it comes to Vietnamese brands and any other local brands, I try to support them as much as possible because I'm a
Yeah.
Vietnamese. I support
Yeah.
my country. So sometimes I would just give them a very, very generous offer, and sometimes I don't even ask for money at all. I say I would do it free of charge.
Yeah.
And this brand, I gave them a very, very generous offer. And even my friends as influencers, they was like, "Are you crazy? And with that
Yeah.
with that many followers, you must be paid a much higher fee." And I said, "I don't care. I like their products and I want to advertise it." And I told them to pay me in advance. We're going to pay like 50% upfront and 50% once the deal is over. The campaign is finished. And at the beginning, they said, "Okay, let's do that, and I will send you the samples, and you just need to produce content and yeah, and everything." And once I received the samples, and I told them, "Okay, so I received the samples, and you can start sending the first half of the payment, and I will start producing draft and outline of the videos." But at that time, they replied to me. They said, "Oh, we didn't agree on that." And I was like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean? You just said okay in the previous messages, and now you
Yeah.
say you don't agree with it?" And but you need to know that it was a very, very tiny amount, and 50 of the tiny amount, it's even smaller. And I was
Yeah.
so taken aback. I was like, "What?" I was surprised, and I was like at a loss for words because I feel like they didn't respect me, and they didn't respect my efforts in making content. And I said, "Okay, if you are not willing to do 50-50, I'm not going to do this collaboration anymore." Because what
Yeah.
will guarantee that you will pay me once the video is live? Because we didn't sign any contract. We didn't do anything. We just do it with messages. And even
Yeah.
with messages, you turned your back on me. And I said, "No, I'm going to return your samples and I'm not doing this anymore." And at that time, I already posted a story advertising for their planner. And I said, "I'm going to give it for free. I just don't need your samples anymore." And I sent them back the sample. And they actually said okay. They didn't do any like "Oh, please don't I think there was a mistake," or they didn't try to keep me. They was like okay. And I was like, "Okay, I'm not going to do this anymore." So that was like one of the worst experience.
Yeah.
And other
Yeah.
than
I
that,
can
I
understand.
cannot think of any best one because um everyone is just so nice.
Yeah.
So I just cannot think of any best one.
Yeah. That's great to hear. It's great to hear that you haven't had that many bad experiences. Um, I mean, the one that you had was not the best one, but it wasn't horrible. So
Mm.
that's great. But how do you see yourself in the future with both your content creation and studies, etc.?
Um, from the beginning, I made it clear to myself that my end goal is to be a doctor. It
Yeah.
never once crossed my mind that I would be a full-time content creator. It never crossed my mind that. So everything that I'm doing right now is only prepping me for my end goal.
Yeah.
And um, I mean, I will continue posting on social media, but I will not be very active. And um, well, just I just go with the flow because I don't know, I don't have a vision for this content yet because I don't put it's not one of my priorities. Do I
Yeah.
make myself clear? Because like
Yeah. Yeah.
my goal
Yeah.
is to be a doctor. not a content creator. So I just don't know where this content will go. But and I mean, I will continue posting on it because I know that I will be studying for a long time because I also have residency afterwards, and after residency, it's practicing medicine. We are
Yeah.
constantly practicing. Yeah. So I will continue posting on it, but sorry. Um, at the moment, I am spending more time on YouTube because I feel like a short videos on Instagrams or on TikToks cannot help me to express myself,
Yeah.
but a long study vlog does help me with sharing more about uh, what it's actually like being a medical student in Vietnam. So I'm spending more time on YouTube. Um, and in the future, I'd love to expand my YouTube journey as well because I think um, residency journey, mm, it's not many resident doctors in Vietnam actually share their journey on YouTube. And I think
Yeah.
it's important to share to let high school students know what it's actually like being a medical student. And
Yeah.
so that they can decide whether they are fit for the field or not. It's important to share. Um, So, of course, I will continue posting for at least until I finish my residency, which is like 4 more years. Um, but let's just go with the flow. I don't have much expectation for it. If it goes viral and it gains follower, that's great. But if it doesn't, who cares? I enjoy it. I
Yeah.
enjoy
And that
posting it. It's something that makes
and
me happy. So, yeah.
yeah, and that should be the main reason as well. You should always enjoy doing it. Otherwise, there's no point. But thank you. This has been a great call, and you've given so much knowledge. It's getting late where you are right now in Vietnam, so can't do it for too long. But yeah, it has been great, and thank you for coming on and sharing your story, what you do.
Thank you so much for having me. It's actually my first podcast. So if you could have any, recommendations or advice on how I could do better in future podcasts, please just tell me. And my
Yeah,
audience, please, if you have any advice, you can also leave it in the comments so I can read it and improve my performance in future podcasts. Thank you so much, Eric.
yeah. Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Have a great eve. No, afternoon.